You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, my days peeps. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt with a huge stunner. And this is confirmed, by the way. This is not speculation. This is not a what if. Here it is. Sloan Petersen is going to give that baby back that she stole. Yes, she is. We're going to unpack all of this, including what the official spoilers say about what the lady lawyer is about to do, why she's going to do it, and when. But first, please click subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any day's updates. Okay. So this spoiler just dropped my jaw, and I do know that it's absolutely true because it came directly from Ken Corday, who is the executive producer at Days of Our Lives. He was talking about some spoilers ahead for 2024 for the first few months of the year. But the only one I'm going to talk about right now is the one about Sloan Petersen that also involves Nicole and Eric and EJ, and of course, baby Jude Brady. So Ken Corday revealed in a recent interview, he said, "Our big story is the baby switch, which will take a surprising turn." Okay, sounds good. Then he said that Sloan is coming apart. We can all see that. She's unraveling because, as you guys know, she's sitting on this huge truth that Jude is really Eric's baby with Nicole. So Sloan is going to do something wild, and Ken Corday says that she demands that Jude be returned to Nicole. But then he gave another spoiler that made it clear that this baby story is far from over, even when Nicole gets her kid back. So here's what else Ken Corday said that was jaw-dropping. He said, when and if Nicole and Eric learn the truth will be something to tune in for. When and if they learn the truth. Interesting words, right? So that creates this huge question. How can Sloan give the baby back to Nicole without Nicole and Eric learning the truth? So once I came across this big, fun, confirmed spoiler from Ken Corday that's kind of flown under the radar. I haven't seen it in a lot of places. So we're going to talk about it because I know how Nicole can give back that kid and still get away with it. Once I like to get a spoiler like this, and I like to just sit and I like to put it on my mental back burner and let it percolate, while I have a coffee or a hot chocolate, think about it, and then it kind of coalesces and it clarifies for me. So I know how this could work. I'm going to tell you guys. So obviously the part about Nicole unraveling, that's already happening right now. I mean, she's kind of had little breakdowns, but she is fracturing. So that indicates to me that her handing back the baby is going to come sooner rather than later. But anytime Sloan considers confessing, Melinda Trask is right there blocking her, telling her to keep her mouth shut before they both wind up bunkmates in Statesville prison. So Sloan has to come up with a plan that will satisfy Melinda and make sure that they're both protected from prison. Sloan is coming apart mentally, but she doesn't want to go to prison either. And then there's her little blackmailer, Leo Stark, who needs to be dealt with. The thing is, though, Leo does not know the whole truth. He knows that Jude is Nicole's baby that she was told died. But he does not know the true paternity of little Jude. He just thinks Nicole, had her baby stolen and that Sloan and Eric adopted him. So we have to see Nicole get the baby back to satisfy Leo. But let's face it, all Leo really wants is to keep taking Sloan's money until she gives the baby back. That's what he's trying to push her to do. He told her that flat out. So he'll be satisfied once it's done. So how can Sloan get this baby back to Nicole while keeping herself and Melinda out of prison without losing Eric and while keeping Leo's mouth shut? Well, I figured it out. This may not be what they're doing, but this would work. I figured it out. So, how can Sloan do the right thing to some extent without messing up her life? So it starts with her talking to her former client, that horrible Dr. Pierce. Remember, He was the one that told Nicole that her baby died. And then he said the funeral home picked up the baby's body and already cremated it, right? Remember all that? So here's what they do. Sloan enlists Dr. Pierce again, writes him another check to undo what he did. It'll be cheaper than continuing to pay Leo's blackmail. That's one silver lining. So she would have Dr. Pierce contact Nicole and tell her, you and your husband need to come down to the hospital. We need to talk in my office. It's urgent. Then Pierce makes the same phone call to Eric and tells Eric, please bring your wife, come down to the hospital, bring the baby. There's something urgent we need to talk about. And of course, Sloan will act surprised, but the only person that would be surprised would be Eric because Sloan would already know this is happening. So then Dr. Pierce can bring the two couples in and say, oh my goodness, there has been a terrible mistake made. You know, with the baby born to the birth mother that you two were adopting, and then, you know, your baby that supposedly died on the side of the road, somehow because, you know, your baby came in with some random guy, aka Dimitri von Leuschner, they got the babies confused with each other because he wasn't tagged like he should have been, and then the paperwork got messed up, yada, yada. He can tell Sloan and Eric the baby they adopted is really Nicole's baby, and that the baby they were supposed to adopt was the one that died. And he'll tell them, I'm so sorry, you know, we have to give the baby back to its parents, Nicole and EJ. That way, you know, Nicole can feel vindicated. She can say, oh, I knew that was my baby when I saw him. But she can't blame Eric or Sloan for keeping the kid away from her because it looks like they didn't know either. And then Sloan can just start crying and, oh no, my poor baby, I have to, you know, she can put on a whole act. You know, this scenario allows Sloan to give back the baby without alerting Eric to the truth. And Sloan can act devastated and cry. And I mean, legitimately, she will be very sad to see little Jude leave their house and go back to Nicole. And she'll feel really, really bad for Eric losing his chance to be a dad. But this would clear it all up. There's just one other thing to consider. Remember, Jude was DNA tested against EJ and it came back negative. Well, Sloan's got to cover that base too because she does not want them doing more DNA testing on that kid. So she only wants a selected amount of the truth to come out, right? Just enough for her to be able to sleep at night. So I expect that if they do involve Dr. Pierce, they would have him address that test proactively, tell him that there's been a couple of lab mix-ups, that he ran the test, you know, just to make sure it was a match. And what he could, you know, just to double check that they're not making any more mistakes, something like that. And then what he does is he uses Eric's DNA sample against this one just to give them this positive result showing, yes, this is, you know, and they just put EJ's name on his sample. So I'm very excited because this spoiler from Ken Corday confirms my prediction that the baby reveal would come in two parts. One, Sloan has Nicole's kid and she has to give it back. And second, that the kid is really Eric's baby, not EJ's. So at some point, I feel like EJ may go to the safe and read that paternity test, even if Dr. Pierce is able to explain the other test results. Like maybe he gives them a replacement test, but he's using Eric's DNA. And then when EJ's got the real test, the one that shows it's Eric. So this is going to get messy. I bet you anything EJ burns the test results that show it's Eric's baby right there in the fire in the living room once he reads them. I mean, EJ might not even question the whole DNA test. Nicole might be so happy to take the kids home. They expect all the, you know, accept all the explanations and everything. And, you know, we'll just see. But I definitely think the whole reveal of it being Eric's baby is going to be prolonged because EJ's going to burn the test results. He may even go back and tell Sloan, I know what you did. And they may become co-conspirators. I don't know. I definitely think we're going to have them giving back the baby in February sweeps. We're getting very close to sweeps. It runs February 1st through 28th this year, so we're less than 2 weeks from sweeps kicking off. And a spoiler for this coming week, the 22nd through the 26th, has Eric coming home to tell Sloan that Leo is coming over later. I'm sure Leo's coming over to torment her and drop hints in front of Eric to make her frantic. And that's fresh off her getting drunk in front of Eric's mom because she's just falling apart. I kind of enjoy Sloan, so if they can get her out of this tight spot and keep her around a little while longer, I think that's good soapy fun. I presume Nicole gets her baby back towards the end of February, the very tail end of February sweeps. Nicole is out of town starting Friday, January 19th, but she and Holly are not going to be gone too long to that clinic in Italy. So maybe she's back in like 3-4 weeks and right in time for the finale of February sweeps with Sloan handing back the baby because Dr. Pierce has revealed some kind of mishandling. I mean, Sloan needs some time to figure out a plan and get all her ducks in a row. I already figured out how she could get away with it, you guys, but I can't wait to see if she uses the same plan that I laid out or she has another one. And then I expect Nicole and EJ to enjoy raising their baby, and maybe by May sweeps, hopefully by May sweeps, it comes out that it's Eric's kid. They might drag it all the way to November sweeps. Who even knows? We'll see how it goes. But for now, I can confirm Sloan is going to find a way to give the baby back. 100% confirmed. They didn't say exactly when, but with sweeps almost here, that makes the most sense. So keep watching Days. Definitely drop your comments below. Please subscribe and come back soon. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I'm here talking Days with you guys 7 days a week.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.